Hi, my name is Thomas Johnson, and I'm the founder and CEO of GetUpNGetFit Wellness Coaching Concierge. I'm also a C-suite advisor and investor. You're listening to How May I Serve You, where I'm constantly on the quest to surround myself with the best coaches while learning how to best serve our executive clientele by asking them, How may I serve you? Today's show is sponsored by Get Up and Get Fit. And Get Up and Get Fit will be providing students with textbooks and school supplies in Cambodia in honor of our guest today, as well as our philanthropic mission to impact at least 50,000 people per year. Today's guest is Renaye Thornborrow. Renaye, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Thomas.
Of course. It's good to have you. So Renaye is leading a worldwide movement to bring life coaching, personal development, and mindset training to kids using coaching stories. Her company's Wisdom Coach certification program is helping professionals in over 30 countries help children develop resilience and coping skills, build confidence and self-esteem, become self-leaders, and so much more. Nice. Renaye, let's go. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Great being here.
Awesome. So Renaye, let's just dive into your story, okay? I want you to tell me the 2 to 3 minute version of who you are, how you got started, and why you got started in this whole coaching, system and structure you're in right now.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to share. Thomas, I first discovered the world of personal development right out of college. And I
Okay.
remember thinking to myself, why didn't I learn this when I was a kid? Yeah, it made no sense to me that the life coaching world and the personal development world focuses on grown-ups when the core thoughts and beliefs that shape who we are formed when we're very young. So I knew that when I had kids, I wanted them to learn these concepts. And I became a personal development expert over the years and used these skills to really create an amazing life. And when I did have kids, I started looking for things to help them develop these mindset skills. And I couldn't find anything out there. There's plenty on how to get my kids to behave, a few things on character development, but nothing on mindset development. How to use the power of your thoughts because our thoughts shape everything from how we experience ourselves to how we experience anything in the world. And I started working with my kids on my own. And sometimes it seemed like a little lecture or boring. I didn't want my kids rolling their eyes every time I opened my mouth.
Yeah.
So then I started writing stories. And that really is how it all got started, because not only did they like the stories, they started getting the concepts, and they were really young when I was starting with that. And, from there, Thomas, I was an executive in a company. I loved what I did, but I was having this pull, this vision to bring this work to children. And that's really how I got started. And I just decided, you know what, I got to go do this. And so I retired from my corporate job and started Adventures in Wisdom. Gosh, that was in 2010. I was lucky enough to take a year off and write the curriculum and then start rolling things out. And here we are years later with coaches around the world bringing this work to kids.
Wow. That's amazing right there, because you're so right. I don't know of any personal development material out there for kids, and I dove into personal development in my early 30s. The first book I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad. Then I started to get more interested in other books. Then I started to research the author and the coaches, who were the coaches, and I got into this whirlpool of discovery. And the more I learned, the more I became better. So if kids were exposed or are exposed to this material early on, they'll become better human beings.
Just learning how to navigate life better. And right now, they've really got a lot of challenges. All of us do. The last 18 months have just been crazy. And just supporting children, and that we can rise above the circumstances and the challenges that we're dealing with. And the mindset's the key to all of that. Our coaches have been quite busy.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So I want to dive a little further into your childhood. Where were you born, and were you exposed to any of this at an early age? Were your parents playing Earl Nightingale in the background, or any type of Dale Carnegie like audio?
Yeah, right. Well, I had a great childhood, growing up. I had great parents, a great engaged family. I have an identical twin sister, a younger brother. We're all in our 50s now, but we're all still very close. And fortunately, my parents are still alive. And, my parents, they always supported us in doing our activities and doing things to help build confidence. But we never really did like personal development kind of stuff. We weren't exposed to any of that. But they knew that for us to be in life, helped us build confidence. And so they always supported us in doing different things, whether it was dance, baton, sports, whatever it was that any of us were interested in. And we supported each other too. So from that perspective, it was really great. I didn't discover the world of personal development, though, until out of college. And my first book was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I just started at IBM on a full-time basis as my career. And that was when the book had just come out. And IBM was very into, or at least back then, into continuous learning. And so people were reading the book. And I was like, gold mine. It's like, what in the world? And that got me started, just like you, of reading everything and just learning. I'm like, where's this been all my life? And starting reading everything. I've just been such a student of personal development work, and for just even now, still learning, still bringing it to kids, and just really working to make a difference out there.
Yeah, and that's amazing right there. And just the fact that you're now exposing children to this work, that's an amazing adventure, because this is a whole different segment, right? Children's mind are so I guess malleable. You could build it, you could mold it, you could shape it, and at this time, this is like the best time to really dive into it, because they're learning, they're becoming themselves.
Absolutely, and it's helping them learn how to shape themselves.
Yes.
And so, having their own, and listen to their own inside voice, not just listening to peers and social media and all the stuff they're exposed to. Yeah.
So with like what you just mentioned about social media, with so much influence from social media, do you believe that now compared to earlier is even needed in terms of their personal development? Do you think it's much more of a necessity now for kids to dive into personal development?
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, don't get me started on social media thing. The thing with social media and phones, those kind of things, is that children are no longer exposed to peers, et cetera, just at school, as it was when I was a child. Now it's 24/7. You have the online bullying, the online influences, and just constantness of information, inundation of you're not good enough and other things. Now, there's some positive sides of social media and the ability for friends to stay connected, but there's a lot of negative too. So that's why it's so important for us as parents or grown-ups who are trusted advisors in children's lives to really stay connected with children, helping them understand more about social media and what to look out for so that they can be safe when they're online. Because I mean, the bottom line is kids are going to be online. My kids actually, we were resistant to get them phones. And just so you know, they're 19 now. They're in college. I'm a recent empty nester. But when we got them phones, this was years ago, it was a little bit sooner than we wanted to. And the reason for that is because they were being left out of social activities. Their friends were all connected via, back then it was just text. They didn't have like Snapchat stuff back then.
The flip phones.
So that was one of the reasons. And then it's a hard balance for parents because we want to support our kids. We want them to be able to be with their friends and stay connected, not be left out. We also want them to be safe. And so education, communication is so important with our children.
Yes, indeed. So since you work with kids right now, do you also encourage the parents to get into personal development? This way they understand what their children are learning?
Yeah. So most parents who hire a coach for their children are already into personal development themselves. They see the value of this. And then some of our coaches, so just so you know about our business model, we train people to use our curriculum to bring life coaching to children. So we're really focused on kids. We do have some components that children and our coaches share with the parents to continue the conversation at home. A lot of our coaches also coach the parents or even coach with the whole family as a whole. So we have some flexibility there, and our coaches are doing a variety of different things. But I think the more that a parent is on board, the better, for sure, because we're not here to fix someone's kid. We're here to facilitate growth and conversation within an entire family. It's the ideal.
Yeah, I could definitely see how that works with your whole structure, your whole company structure. So in terms of storytelling, right?
Yeah.
How important do you feel this structure is for kids to receive information? Because this the structure you're following right now, storytelling structure. Myself personally, I love stories, I love movies, I love books because of the storytelling. Even back in the day when technology wasn't available, it was always story. People passed down their information, the tribal rituals and
Yeah,
background through storytelling. So,
absolutely.
what led you to using storytelling to promote personal development for kids?
Wow. Well, is what I started using with my own children that I saw that worked. And of course, later I learned the brain science behind it. And
Hmm.
the thing is with stories is that whenever children or us grown-ups too, whenever we're listening or learning or hearing facts, the only part of the brain that's stimulated is just the part of our brain that turns words into meaning.
Hmm.
However, when we hear stories, not only is that center of the brain or region of the brain stimulated, but so are the physiological and emotional centers as well. So when we have multiple regions of our brain stimulated, it creates better learning and it creates an experience. And this is why children and all of us remember from stories. And the stories are also so effective, such an effective way to coach children because it enables us to bring a safe way for children to learn how to talk about their emotions and
Mm.
thoughts that they're having. So, for example, most kids don't like talking about being afraid or being scared, but they love talking about grungies and they like talking about dragons. Grungies
Okay.
is the term that we use for the yucky feelings in our bodies, and dragons is a term that we use for kind of the negative thoughts that create the grungies in our bodies. And it kids that say, hey, are the dragons flying today? Or are you experiencing the grungies? It just gives you a safe way to talk about it. So stories are just so powerful. And just, coaching kids is so different than coaching adults. And it's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a curriculum and a process that works with kids if you're working with children. And by the way, we work with children. Our ideal sweet spot is between the ages of 6 through 12. Some of our coaches work with kids who are slightly younger. Some work with teens as well. So there's a lot of flexibility there. But really, the sweet spot is 6 through 12.
Okay. Okay. So, do you guys create books as well, like books with various stories and shows, and programs with various shows? Like, paint me a picture. Walk me
Yeah.
through your whole program. I'm curious now. I want to dive deeper.
Great question. So our curriculum is delivered to our coaches in it's a PDF download format. Because it's huge. We have 27 different skills that we teach. Each
Okay.
one of these skills has a coaching story, discussion question, activities, take-home sheets for the parents, and then review sheets that we call Wise and Five. So it's really big. We have it in both the PDF format as well as the MP3 audio format. So it's stories that all of that's available in audio as well. So
Okay.
to paint the picture, the coach uses the curriculum in their work with children. And most of the times they will read the story to the child because it gives them a chance to be really animated, to pause and ask questions and really
Hmm.
engage children along the way. We have intentionally stayed away from media like videos, TV shows, those kinds of things. And the reason for that is we don't want to be another reason that kids are in front of screens.
Okay.
But what's so core to coaching children is that human connection. Our children are craving human connection, having someone
Mm.
to really deeply listen to them, to help them apply these skills to their own lives, to help them, just get on the floor and do an art project together, which we have art projects and other activities that support them in applying these skills to their lives and just having kind of a multi-sensory way of experiencing them. So it's really, we give our coaches flexibility into how they use our work, whether it's one-on-one groups. Some do online coaching, most are in person, but it's all about that human connection with the child, face to face, whether it's online face to face or in person face to face.
Renee, I could tell that you're passionate about this right here. Because
Yeah,
as you speak to me, I'm looking at your facial expressions, right? You're glowing. You're
thank you.
glowing. So I could tell you're living your purpose right now.
Very much so. Thank you.
Definitely. So now let's dive into storytelling since you love stories, right? And I love stories as well. So I want you to give me like a 2 to 3 minute story of how you utilize your coaching to help your either a parent or a child to overcome some type of difficulty or an obstacle and etc.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, we have so many examples and so many that we share on our website. I actually just sent an email out today to our list about the story about a child named Tyler. And Tyler's a 10-year-old boy, and he was really struggling with self-esteem and confidence. He would really get down on himself. And when the coach was first starting to work with him, and she would show up at his house, I mean, he could barely make eye contact, spoke with a really soft voice, and
Mm.
just really was just didn't have much confidence at all. And she was working with him using our curriculum, working with him on building confidence. And over a series of sessions, he started, greeting her with a smile, eye contact, engaging in questions. And one of the activities that she sent him on was a stretch activity. For building confidence, one of the best things to do is to stretch outside of your comfort zone. And his stretch activity was to go to a coffee shop and to introduce himself to some people and ask them what was their favorite thing to do. And we actually have a picture of him in a stretch activity that we sent out today. It was on that, and it's in our website. But he did that. And it was interesting because the mom went along with the coach, and they just kind of sat in the corner while Tyler went off and did his stretch activity. And the mom was just absolutely blown away to see her son doing that. And it just helped really build his confidence. And what was really neat about this, Thomas, is that, and the coach had been working with him, I think about 7, 8, 9 sessions, something like that. And towards the end there, Tyler was coaching himself. And one of the things that he did was that he lived in this high-rise apartment building, and he would see a group of boys playing out in the yard, but he was too scared to introduce himself. Well, he put himself on a stretch to go out and introduce himself and to meet the kids. And what he did was he really worked on his self-talk around, instead of they're not going to like me, they're going to judge me, saying, I'm going to have new friends. I can't remember the exact languaging, but I've got it there in the case study, but where he was sending himself positive messages about what this experience was going to be. And, now they're his playmates. And it was just such a transformational story. One of so many. Our coaches are they're the true heroes, because they are working with kids every day, just having such a positive impact on children's lives.
That's amazing right there. It's funny how oftentimes our self-talk is what limits us from getting to the next step, getting to that next job opportunity, that next success, right? The self-talk. And oftentimes it's negative, right? Why not positive? It's normally negative.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad you were able to really, your coaches were able to instill the power of positive self-talk.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Thomas, self-talk is such an important skill that it's actually the free story or the free skill book that we give away on our website, because it's something I want all parents and all coaches and people to use with children in their lives, because it shapes everything. Like you said, from our self-esteem, self-confidence, our ability to achieve things, whether it's getting the next job, our fitness. I mean, I'm sure you deal with it all the time in working with executives. Self-talk at all levels of life is so important.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. So I know this drives you, right? But I'm going to ask you this question again. So what about everything you're doing right now? What's the catalyst that drives you, right? That wakes you up every morning?
What wakes me up in the morning, or it gets me excited, is just making a difference in the world. I mean, that's always been a driver, and there's the theme has always been around empowerment, empowering people and helping them see just how powerful they are. And mindset skills are like the foundation of it all. But, that's what drives me from a work perspective. And of course, my own family. I mean, family is always number one for me. I just absolutely adore my kiddos and my husband. We have such a great connected family. I miss them now that they're at college, but I'm just thrilled that they're off doing their thing and just having tons of fun and creating what's next for them in life.
Definitely. They're on their journey, right? But
absolutely.
Still you help to set that foundation. So you equip them to go out into this world and execute.
Yeah. Very proud of them.
That's awesome right there. So if someone were to look for a coach, right, what traits would you advise for them to look for?
Well, if someone's looking for a coach, I mean, a couple things. One is really, what is their goal for coaching? And maybe sometimes, like for a parent looking for a coach, they may not know exactly. They might see their child struggling, not really know. So part of our process is an intake process to understand more about what's going on. But I think it's really important to interview coaches and see who you really have a connection with. And when it comes to working with the child needs to meet the coach too. I think that's important to make sure that there's a connection there. And it's just really being clear on what the goals are. What is it you're looking for from the coaching relationship? And it's also making sure that you have someone who has a proven process in working with children, because coaching children is so different than coaching adults.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. In terms of mindset and personal development, I find that within everything we do, there's a certain aspect of that, right? Even when I was in high, when I was in prior to going to college, I coached pee wee football, and
Yeah.
even coaching those kids, you have to use mindset training, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
we were doing this without even knowing that we were analyzing and using personal development and mindset training.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
it's such a integral part of growing up and life itself.
Yeah. You're absolutely
You know?
right. Yeah. And when it comes to sports, performing on stage, anything, how we talk with ourselves, our mindset about it's going to directly shape our performance. We see it all the time in games that we watch on TV, where all of a sudden someone goes into a slump or there's the momentum shift. And, the mindset is so critical in recovering from that, or, staying high to go up there and get that
Yes,
win.
yes, indeed, yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So, are you currently working on any new projects? Any new books? Any new curriculum? If
Uh,
you are, do you mind sharing with us?
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah, two projects front and center. I mean, one is I'm working on building my team so that we can have a bigger impact in the world.
Okay.
Second is we're about to have a panel conversation with 5 of our coaches who just to talk about how they're working with children or have been working with children all through this whole pandemic and helping them navigate kind of just everything that's been going on, all the challenges. We call it kind of the roller coaster of the pandemic. They've been going to school, back to online learning, parents are arguing and with each other, and now children are getting sick, so children are a little bit concerned about their own health and about their
Mm-hmm.
family and friends' health. So how have our coaches helped navigate these last 18-20 months? So we're about to have a panel on that, and we'll be probably sending that out to folks and or having it available for folks within just the next couple of weeks. It's such
Okay.
a
Okay.
it's so
So,
important.
if someone were to inquire about your services, or want to learn a little bit more about a panel discussion, where
Yeah.
can they connect with you?
Yes. Adventuresandwisdom.com is our website. So that's the best place. They can download a free story
Okay.
and kind of get into learn a little bit more about us. And then, of course, they can always send me an email. Renaye, Renaye, at adventuresandwisdom.com, or support, which is easier to remember, at adventuresandwisdom.com if someone has a question they want to email to us.
Okay, great, great. So, Renaye, thank you for coming on today's episode. I appreciate your insight
Yeah.
and what you're doing for kids. When it comes to the personal development arena, it's such a powerful thing. And it's funny because I don't have any kids yet, but I plan on taking that same route. Like, I love books, as you can tell from my bookshelf. I love to read.
Uh-huh.
I love to
Oh,
learn, and I'm always learning and developing myself. So that's the
yeah.
route I plan on sharing with my future kids. And you're doing it right now. You're bringing parents into this world and introducing kids into this world. And what you're doing right now is such an amazing, amazing thing. And I appreciate you for it. I
Well,
appreciate.
I thank you so much, Thomas, for just giving us an opportunity to help spread the word. So many people don't realize that life coaching for kids is a huge part of the mental wellness solution for our children. Just helping them develop the resilience and coping skills, being proactive in developing self-esteem and self-confidence, learning how to achieve goals. Let's help children when they're early, help them build these skills so that hopefully counseling's never needed, you know?
Yes, indeed. So being proactive and not reactive.
Absolutely.
So, last but not least, Renaye,
Yes.
how may I serve you?
Oh, it's such a great question, Thomas. Thanks so much. You already have. I mean, just by having me here, helping us get the word out about the power and the impact of life coaching for kids. And second, just keep doing what you're doing. You're an amazing human being. You're doing great work. I can tell you really care about getting the message out about the impact coaching is having in the world and different types of coaches. So just keep doing what you're doing. And I just love the give back component of your company as well. I mean, that is phenomenal. Just keep up the great work.
Thank you, Renaye. I appreciate you. And to all our listeners out there, thank you for lending us your ears and your eyeballs. And make sure to tune in to next episode of How May I Serve You. Once again, this is your host, Thomas Johnson, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Later. Much love.
Awesome.